Hi everyone, I've come on a little bit early just to give a bit of time for people to know that I'm here and anybody who's going to join us to join. So yeah, this is the first live I have done in the dark. It's quite strange. I didn't know what the lighting was going to be like because obviously I've got a light above me. So yeah, quite different for me. This feels different. It feels later and yet I don't think it is. It's just because it's dark outside. And actually, I thought this was going to be one of the last days when I'd be hot in the conservatory, but I was actually sitting here working this afternoon and it was so warm. It was ridiculous. And it just seems like at the moment it's fluctuating between one thing and another. It really is quite odd. So I'll give it another couple of minutes and then I shall start. It probably won't be a couple of minutes because I'll get bored. I've just been listening to a bit of Aretha Franklin whilst I've been waiting to come on, who we lost over the summer, unfortunately. Fantastic artist. Yeah, a bit sad, but you know, very, very, very good life. Good and long life. And gave so much joy to everybody. I'm looking down because I've got so many devices going on here you would not believe. So, shall we start? I think we shall. I'm going to put that out the way for now and I'll grab it later if I need it. Come on then. Okay, I'll explain this little girl in a second. She was itching to get onto my knee. So, hello and welcome to How to Take Back Control. Do you feel like you're blagging it? I'm going to talk quite a bit about that subject, obviously, but before we do, I'm just going to give you a little bit of housekeeping. So first of all, the little thing that you might be able to see at the bottom of the screen is Gracie. Gracie, are you going to say hello? There she is. Gracie is the star of my Facebook Live. She's been on almost all of them. Don't eat the microphone, Gracie. And she normally comes and sits on my knee. If she does decide she's going to jump down and run around, then you'll hear like a little tap dancing pixie. And that'll be her. And if you can hear sniffing at the moment, that is also her. I also have a cat, Jessie. So if Gracie jumps down, then the cat might decide to jump up and say hello. What are you doing, darling? There's obviously something tasty on my top. I'll move the microphone up a bit and then hopefully you won't hear her and you'll hear me. So yeah, that's Gracie. I do use slides because, as you've probably worked out already, I can waffle on and I want to keep it concise. I've got so much that I want to share with you. If you're watching on replay, can you just pop in #replay and that will let me know that you're here and I can come in and interact with you. I normally use some fancy technology. It's not so fancy today because it's not working particularly well. But as I say, I have got slides and I've got a couple of devices going on so I can interact well with you. So if you see me looking in different directions, it's because of that. It's not that I'm losing interest in you or anything like that. And I saw somebody was on before. If you are here, can you just give me some hearts so that I know that you can hear me okay? And that would be great. So, our subject for today, how to take back control. Do you feel like you're blagging it? A lot of us do. So that's the first thing I want to say to you. A lot of us do. Let me tell you about myself. I'm Steph Doucet. I coach female leaders and entrepreneurs who are too busy juggling the competing demands of work and home. They're trying to do it all and they focus on everyone and everything except themselves. They feel like they're constantly battling. They fear that they're not good enough and that they are going to be caught out. And they're always busy. They never have enough time to do what they need. So with compassion and with honesty and with a sprinkling of humour, I support them to take back control and step into being a high value leader who is both competent and confident. And I do that by focusing on the things that really make a difference to create a high quality life. Hi Lizzie. Lizzie, if you can hear me, can you just give me some hearts or something so that I know that, that it's coming across okay? That'd be great. just to say as well, before we start properly, that after my fantastic extended holiday, nice 3 weeks I had in Ghana in West Africa, I've reopened up my virtual tea and cake calls. So if you'd like to have a free chat with me to explore any of this further, then can you get in touch, because that'd be really great. And what I'll do is, and this is when I might have to use my phone, so bear with me, I will just try and pop a link in there into the conversation now. And that means you can just click on that link and it will let you book your call. Oh, see, modern technology. Wow, amazing. Okay, so let's get on with it. Do you feel like you're blagging it? To be honest, I've felt like this for a large part of my life. I'm not going to say how old I am now, but I reckon, well, I could do really. You'll probably work it out. I think for probably best part of 30 years, maybe a little bit more, I felt like I'm not good enough. I felt like I wasn't enough, I wasn't good enough, and that I was basically blagging it. And what it did for me was, it kind of stopped me following my dreams. So as a child and teenager, I wanted to be a singer, dancer, actor. That's what I want to do. I absolutely loved that world. But I believed, because something was telling me that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't tall enough, that I wasn't pretty enough. And I believed it. And I gave up on that dream. And it's one of those things that I kind of think now, what if? What if I hadn't listened? What if I'd gone for it? I might not have been good enough. I might not have been tall enough. I might not have been pretty enough. But I never really tried, because I believed what a voice was telling me. Do I regret it? I don't know that I do, actually, because what I say is that I try not to have regrets, because I wouldn't be the person I am now, and I wouldn't be here doing this, and that's something that I honestly believe I'm here to do. I believe that I'm here for a reason now, and that I've been through what I've been through so that I can do this. But I do wonder, what if? And it's not just that it stopped me from doing throughout my career. It's just held me back, because I believed like I'm not good enough. You know, if any of this chimes with you, then just pop me some thumbs or some hearts, so that I know that you kind of understand what I'm talking about. I've also had that feeling like everybody's better than me. So when I've been in work and I've been functioning and I've had good feedback, don't get me wrong, it's not that I haven't had good feedback, because I have. But I've always felt, well, actually, I'm not, somebody could have done that better. Was that the right decision? I don't know. I've been second guessing myself and questioning myself, and I've been worrying about what I've done and what I've said. So maybe I contributed to a meeting. And when I was contributing, I would kind of sit and worry afterwards, and I would lie awake at night going over and over and over it and thinking, well, is that really, but did I do the right thing? Somebody said that to me. Did they really mean that? And it just was constantly going around in my head. Everybody knows, everybody's better than me, and I didn't do this right. I made the wrong decisions. I did the wrong thing. And there's that feeling like you're a fraud. So I was always worried to stick my neck out too far in case people realised that I was a fraud. And all of these feelings, the feeling of not being good enough, the feeling that everybody was better than me, the feeling that I was a fraud, the feeling that I was going to get found out if I pushed myself forward too much, if I said something a little bit too outspoken or anything like that, all came from what I call my creature. Now, anybody who's seen my talks, my videos before, knows that my creature sits behind my right shoulder, and it's green, and it's spiky, and it's got long spindly arms and legs and big feet and big black eyebrows, and it goes like this. And it just talks to me constantly. And it's that will tell me that I'm not good enough. And it's that will tell me that that was stupid and that everybody knows it's stupid. And every single time that I do something, and nobody's perfect, you know, you make mistakes. But when I made a mistake, it would tell me, see, that's proof. That's proof that you're not good enough and you don't know what you're doing and you don't deserve to be here. So, you know, it's interesting. I did a workshop earlier this week. Anyway, I did a workshop. It was earlier this week. I'm losing my weeks now. Oh my God. And I asked people to write down what their creature said to them. And people found it really hard. And they found it really hard because they said it feels like it makes it more real. And I'm going to come back to that because they knew what it was saying. Yeah, Amy, you're absolutely right. It's your saboteurs. And it's really important to recognise that. I call mine my creature. And it's about controlling them, managing them. You're absolutely right. It will be there, but you need to learn how to manage and to not let it take over your life. So if you know what your creature says to you and you're happy to share it, pop some of those in the comments box. I'd be really interested to see, because what was really interesting at this workshop was how many of our creatures were saying the same thing. I mean, these things must be related because they've all got the same messages that they're giving out. So I had all of that going on about not feeling good enough and knowing that I was going to be found out and all of that type of things. And what it did was it undermined my confidence. And it made me think that I couldn't do things that I now know that I can and that I could have done. So if I think back to the woman I was aged 28, and I think about that woman, and people were saying things to her about the achievements, saying things to me about the achievements that I could reach and the heights I could reach and the things I could do. And I didn't believe them, I believed this. And I didn't go for it. I didn't push because that was saying, yeah, they're only saying that because they want you to expose just how rubbish they are. Who do you think you are? A good one this year. Who do I think I am? I don't know at the moment. Oh, that's what your saboteur says. Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's the, you know, who are you to say that? Why do you think you should have that? And I get that exactly, Lizzie. I exactly know what you mean. And yeah, yours is related to mine as well. So it made me think I couldn't do things. And what I tended to do was I would just do more. I'd work harder. I'd be more helpful. I'd make myself essential in the hope that if I did all of that, people wouldn't notice all my flaws. They wouldn't notice that I didn't deserve to be there. I wasn't competent because I was just busy. It's a bit like you can't see then that that things are going wrong. It's that if you kind of dodge, then they can't see to hit you, they can't see to find you out. And that's what I did. I just made myself incredibly busy, ran around doing everything. And the other thing that I did was I felt like I had to do everything myself. And the reason for that was because then I had control. Sorry, because the signal keeps going in and out, but if I did everything myself, I had control. And it meant that if I made a mistake, I could find it out before anybody else did. And I used to say that to people, if you're going to make a mistake, put it right before anybody finds out. But also it meant that nobody else could see what I was doing and see all the mistakes I was making and couldn't prove that actually they were better than me, and then I'd get found out. Does that make sense? So I couldn't delegate anything, because if I delegated it, they'd realise that I didn't know what I was doing. And it stopped me going for opportunities. So the amount of times that I have moved on from a job, and the job that I used to do would then be split, and the salary increased after I left it. And sometimes I'd be replaced eventually by 3 or 4 people, and they'd all be paid the same, if not more, than I was. Now, why? Did I not think that job was too busy? Yes, I did. Did I not think maybe I should get paid some more? Actually, no, I didn't, because this thing was telling me that I didn't deserve the money I was getting anyway, never mind more. So I didn't ask. There would be jobs that I knew I could do, but then I didn't feel that I had the right to apply for it, because actually, could I do it? This thing thought I couldn't. Yeah, Lizzie's asking whether some of the voices came from voices of people in the past. And I think so, but I think more than that, it came from kind of values in the past. So a lot of us had that kind of, be nice, don't brag. Good people, nice people, don't brag. Nice girls especially, don't brag. You don't shout about what you can do. Sorry, I'm going to have a swig of my tea. That's just, that's brash and it's rude and you shouldn't do that. And it's that whole thing of if somebody says, oh, that was really good, you go, oh, no, it was nothing. It was nothing. And I think that became embedded for me. I also think that some of it personally came from the fact that actually I was different to most of the people I grew up around. I grew up in the northeast of England in the 70s and 80s. I've truly given away my age now. But, I wasn't surrounded by people who looked like me particularly. So I was different. And I think some of it comes from it. And I think it's probably, we have things in common that are the root of it. But then obviously everybody's got their own experiences that influence what their creature is going to say to them. So the good news is you can get control. You can control this. And I have. It's still there, but it doesn't affect the way I behave now. Over the summer, I've had to work really hard about keeping that under control. It's just, there's been stuff going on that's meant it's really started shouting a bit. And I've had to keep going, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. I do, you don't. But I can do that because I've learned how to do it. So I can now walk confident in the knowledge that I've earned the right to be there. And be that into a meeting, be that into a group, I know that I've got the right to be there. I have the skills and the knowledge to just get on and do things well. And that's an incredible feeling. Yeah, Amy, I'm sorry, I think my signal keeps dropping out, but I stop every time it does it, so I don't think you're missing too much. What I do now when I get a compliment, you ready for this? It's quite radical. If somebody compliments me or compliments my work, I say, thank you. And that's it. I don't say, oh, thank you, but actually, you know what? Did you notice that we did this wrong? And did you notice that we did that wrong? And actually, I could have done better if I'd had more time. I'm going to tell you a very quick little story about a colleague of mine last week. And I walked into the office and I said to her, you look really nice. And immediately, and if you're watching, you know who you are. I'm not going to say your name, but you know who you are. She immediately said, oh, well, I just threw this and I've got a hole in my sleeve somewhere. And I had to say, no, sorry. You've said that wrong. You're supposed to say thank you. And it took about 4 attempts to get her to say thank you. And you know what? And this is the thing that's really bad about this imposter syndrome, which is what we're talking about, is had she not pointed out that she had a hole in her sleeve, I wouldn't have seen it because she looked nice. And it's just simple. If somebody compliments your work, say thank you. The one I'm really working towards owning is, I know, thank you. Because if you really know that what you've done is good, then own that. Just own it. And the last thing really that you can do if you get this under control is you can state, this is what I'm worth and this is what I'm going to get. And you know what? No matter how many times I say that, I still get that fantastic feeling in my stomach. That phrase, I know what I'm worth and that's what I'm going to get, can apply to a role, a contract, an income, a partner and a relationship. It doesn't really matter what it applies to. But you know your real worth, not what this is telling you. And that's what you hold out for. Now, I probably couldn't have said that a year, possibly even 6 months ago, if I'm honest, but I can now. And I hold myself to that now because this is under control. So, first steps. There's a couple of things. I described my creature really clearly at the beginning, and there's a really good reason. It's funny, I know, when I do a big talk on it, I go quite a lot into my creature, but actually, by talking about the creature and not about my voice, it separates it from me. So what it's saying isn't me. It's separate. And if it's separate, I don't own it. It's not mine. So it's a really useful thing. So picture your creature if it works like that. Come up with a name for it. Call it... Actually, I'm not going to say a name because then somebody who's got that name will watch it and think, why did you call your horrible creature that name? But think of a name for it. Really give it an identity that's separate from you. That's really handy. Really good tip. But the other thing I want you to do is to notice when your voice is talking. So... I don't know if you do this, but sometimes when I'm busy doing stuff around the house, I'll have the radio on or the TV on in the background, and it'll just be chattering away. I'm not listening to it, but it's just there. And then the next day, somebody will say something about whatever it was I was listening to, and I can join in the conversation. It makes sense. That's what's going on with your creature. It's chattering away to you the whole time. Hi, Tina. Your voice is chattering away to you the whole time, and yet you're absorbing what it's saying, but you're not noticing it. So what I want you to do is to notice when it talks to you. And I guarantee you, if you've experienced any of the stuff I was talking about at the beginning, that feeling of being a fraud, of not being worth the role that you've got, feeling like you're blagging it, all of that type of thing, your voice is talking. Yeah, that creature is talking to you, not your voice. The creature is talking to you. So just notice it. You might want to just do a little tally chart. Every time you notice it, just do a little mark on a piece of paper and you will be amazed. Don't listen to it, but just notice when it's talking to you. So they're the two things I would suggest you do. Create an identity for it and then notice when it's talking to you. And just taking those two little actions will start to make such a difference in the impact that it has on you. But as I say, this is a journey, okay? You need to keep it up. The second that I stop, I know it'll come back. The second I try something new, it goes, "Wah!" and starts shouting again, and that's when I've got to work hard like I did over the summer just to keep it quiet. Lizzie, I know exactly what you mean. It does need, I almost imagine mine with like a muzzle on. So it's just going, so it's still wittering on. I just don't actually hear what it's saying anymore. And if it does eventually get a few words out, I just bat it away. I've actually been known to go like that when it's started and I can hear it. But that's what you'll learn to do. So, as I said at the beginning, if any of this has chimed with you, you want to talk about it a bit further, you just want to give me your views, we can discuss it in the comments. But also, I am opening up my free virtual tea and cake calls. I will not actually give you cake, unfortunately, but you can bring your own, and we'll sit and we'll have an online chat, and that would be great. So I'll pop that link again just in the comments. Thank you so much for your interaction. I know everybody, it's getting late now, and I want to make sure that you switch off and get a good night's sleep. I know that some of you will be carrying on for at least another 2 hours. See, finger wagging here. I'd like you to get a good night's sleep because that's what you need, that's what your body needs. But thank you so much for coming on and interacting tonight. It's been great. I hope it's been useful. And please, 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 if you want to have a chat, get in touch and get that virtual tea and cake call in my diary. That'd be lovely. So thank you so much for all the interaction. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.